Welcome back, guys, to round 3 of the FIA 2020/2021 GT Sport Nations Cup Series, where today we're here at the Red Bull Ring in the GR2 cars, otherwise known as the GT500 cars from Japan. We line up P2 for this one. Rather happy with our pace at the end of the day. I love that paint scheme as well. Obviously, this is the Nations Cup. We've got a British 1, 2, 3, all of us in the Lexus. It does, normally these cars are, yeah, pretty much even. But this track, I don't know if it's just us that seem to have done quite well with it, or what. I don't really know. But yeah, obviously, trying to do a bit more of this series. Obviously, we'll see how this one goes. I do quite like this car. I do quite like this track, but a couple of the curbs can be absolutely deadly. Obviously, this car is actually one of the first ones I ever drove sort of competitively on GT Sport. Way back, I think it was at the start of the end of 2018, back when I joined ILR as well. I only managed to do a couple of races in it, but it was really good fun as well. As you can probably tell, I probably hear as well, I'm not still 100%, so we'll wait and see as to how this one goes as well. But yeah, really am looking forward to this. Obviously, if you're new around here, do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well for more GT Sport content. Obviously, we're going to be doing more of the Nations Cup and Manufacturers Series over the course of the winter. And then obviously, hopefully, maybe, yeah, we'll try and do a bit more as we head in towards the next couple of seasons as well. Obviously, GT7 just around the corner as well. Really looking forward to that. The day of recording this, the new Xbox price and pre-order date has been announced. So hopefully PlayStation will be right around the corner as well. But yeah, ready then, 17 laps around this circuit. Probably only going to be about a 25-minute race, if my guess is correct. 723 miles I've done in this car, so safe to say it's running at this point as well. But getting ready then for the start of this race. Hopefully we can just have a nice clean getaway, keep it clean, keep it tidy, and enjoy the fairly, not the strongest slipstream in the world in this car. But it is lights out, and away we go then. You can see, like I said, 3 Brits in the top 3 ready for the start of this one, so rather happy with that as we head down in towards turn 1 for the first time. Struggling a bit, actually, with the understeer. Both myself and the leader get all over the sausage curbs. That's going to allow P3 just to close in ever so slightly more as we head up the hill for the first time, actually gaining quite a big toe on the leader. We'll have a look to the inside, but I won't actually go for anything unless, of course, he gives me the room, which he has done. So rather surprised by that one, and we've accidentally moved ourselves up into the lead then of the race. Wasn't a move I was intending on making, as I think the other Brit has been absolutely punted off behind us off the start of this race, braking nice and early on the inside as we head through the next corner. But perfect little start for ourselves. Hopefully we can work together at the front of the field, try and break the slipstream train if possible. So far, most of our races have gone alright on GT Sport. Now, there is a mandatory tyre change in this one, and I actually did look this week as to which tyres you've got to use. So we have actually got to use the hard compounded tyres for this race. So hopefully, yeah, I mean, we'll probably have to pit about lap 8, lap 9, depending on how good these mediums last as well. And then obviously just go hards to the end. Should only be a 1 stop unless fuel is really that bad. Don't think it's too bad around this circuit. No, we're definitely not going to need to pit for fuel. So we might be able to take these hards, actually, these mediums, sorry, I should say, quite far into the race. Back down in towards turn 1. Trying to clip that curb a bit better that time round. We're going to give ourselves a good run as we head up the hill for the second time in this race. But yeah, you can see actually the third Brit there still in P4 at the moment, so not too bad a start. So I break a bit too late up towards the top of the hill. No, I don't. We get it slowed down just about anyway. And then just roll it over the top of the corner there. Obviously, you sort of want to run yourself a little bit deep in towards that almost hairpin still, just because it allows you a bit of a flatter run on the exit. And with a car with this much power on GT Sport, yeah, probably not such a bad thing to do to give yourself a bit of better traction. I was struggling a bit with it over the course of qualifying, as we're now right on the cusp of that 1 second margin as well. That would certainly be something I'd like to get sorted early on in this race, as well as we go purple, obviously, through sector 2. There we go, just over that 1 second mark now. That is exactly what we needed. Qualifying, I definitely could have got pole. We actually set a really quick lap right at the start of the session. That guy then went like 40 thousandths quicker than us, and then we then improved by less than 100th of a second, which which unfortunately meant obviously we stayed in P2. But yeah, I think we ran like a 1:21.999 in the end. We were aiming to get into the 22s, and safe to say we didn't do it, but quite as low as I would have wanted. We missed out on pole by, yeah, I think it was 300ths of a second in the end there. But the gap now over 1 second, so you can see up this back straight, we are pulling away just a little bit as we head towards the top of the hill. Purple again in the early stages, just trying to settle down into our rhythm, work out the grip limits of the car, everything like that. Obviously, braking zones can change quite drastically in a car that is this fast. Obviously, a few seconds a lap quicker around here than a Group 3 car. I would have thought the Group 3s, yeah, probably going to be around sort of the 27s, 28s, I would have thought. I can't quite remember for sure. As suddenly the gap now up to 2 seconds, so that's rather ideal. If we can just sort of slowly build up a bit of a margin, that would be rather handy. We have obviously got to be careful of track limits, as always, as we seem to find a little bit more through Sector 2 there. But yeah, it's been a good little getaway then, in the end for ourselves. You can see the tyres already, though, starting to wear just a bit. So yeah, definitely gonna have to, well, I mean, we have to pit for tyres anyway, unless we want to take an immediate penalty. So certainly it's going to be ideal to get that all sorted as well. A 1:22.6 is, yeah, not a bad lap time at all at the moment, as we're just nicely building up a bit of a margin in this race. It is amazing just how by playing this game a few times, you know, most of this lobby is A class. I think we're B now at like 29,000 driver rating. So we're very, very close. In fact, this race might actually get us promoted up to A, if obviously we keep it clean and get a good result. But still obviously a long way to go there. He's making a bit of a mistake into the hairpin that time round. The gap's just opening up at the moment. It is really, really good to see in these early stages. But the guy behind him might be on the hard compounded tyres, something like that. You never know. So we have just got to be a little bit careful as we get a bit of wheel spin out of turn 3. I still call that turn 3. This is a 9-corner circuit. You can kit your fake turn 2 and all that good stuff as well through turn 4. No, it's only an 8-corner circuit, isn't it? I'm getting all my numbers wrong through the end of sector 2 though. Getting a little bit loose there, but we are still opening up the gap lap after lap. So nice to see it is as much down to pace as it is down to consistency as well. We just got to be careful, obviously, not to make any mistakes over the curbs. Then obviously there are quite a few lethal ones around here. Track limits as well can be a little bit inconsistent, but if we can get sort of good, consistent high 22s, low 23s, I'll be rather happy with that as we chuck it down into turn 1 again. Just try and get the car on that outside curbing. It does actually give you the traction. It doesn't look like it would, but it seems to on this game, as P3 is locked into battle. So maybe that position is going to get changed around again in just a moment as we try to get the power down out at the top of the hill there. You can see, yeah, the gap hasn't opened up so drastically over the last couple of laps, but it's still opening up a little bit more lap after lap at the moment as we head back down through the next couple of corners. Yeah, just trying to keep it clean, keep it tidy, and settling down into a rhythm here as we get a little bit too late on the brakes. It's one of those horrible deceiving corners where sometimes you get too late on the brakes and you won't need to worry. It will just sort of grip up and you'll take a bit of a later apex. Other times you'll just ever so slightly miss the brakes, you'll panic, you'll understeer, and then you'll just wash out throughout the entirety of that corner. It really is just one of those ones where you've just got to be calm and be smooth, just like everything on GT Sport. It's such a smoothness-based game, you know, it really is the key to success on here. That's why I do use the Formula Room in whatever I'm racing, because it is all about just being so smooth through all of the corners here. But anyway, back down in towards turn 1. Nice and tidy through there once again. Yeah, the gap though, holding it seems to be a little bit more level now at around the 3.5 second mark, as the guy that was P3 all the way down to 6th. I've got no idea what's happened to him as we head, well, we are a third of the way through this race already then. So yeah, things going surprisingly quickly already. But myself, Zorzil, and Nelson PK1952, that's a bit of an interesting one. Now back up into the top 3 for England. Things you love to see in these early stages. But yeah, Still a big battle going on. Seems that Assetto Corsa Competizione is updated. Nice, I guess. Haven't really played that game. Still, I did want to do a fair bit of League Racing on PS4 on it, but just never really have found the time at the moment. Anyway, down in through the S's again. We do seem to be able to find a bit of time through there and then just lose it all again to P2 in towards the final couple of corners. It's all a little bit strange, I'll be honest, but anyway, let's just see if we can keep it nice and tidy that time around. You can see just banging off the rev limiter there. Just a little bit, that certainly isn't going to help us, but we do get quite a good run. That time, you can see the lap times are slowly opening up as well. We have got to be careful about using the outside of that corner there, because it can come back and bite you if the tyre grip starts to run out. You can see already the rear tyres really do take a pounding around here. Obviously a fair few traction zones. We might just try and get them to the end of lap 8, see when others start pitting. We're a little bit deep on the brakes there as well. Come on, get the power down. That's probably not helping us. Doing 11s on the exits of corners here. You can see the field spread. There seems to be, the top two of us have broke away a bit. And then there's a bit of a gaggle for P3. And then another big drop off to, I think, about P7, I'm inclined to say. And there's another huge gaggle there to about sort of P12, P13. Another big gaggle to about sort of P16 there. And just a couple of stragglers as well. So field spread not ridiculous, but luckily if we came out, there's a fair chance we'd be able to nip our way through a cluster of cars. Well, I'd rather take them on one by one, of course, but yeah, we'll wait and see. That's what happens. Hopefully that just means obviously people are likely just to follow each other into the pits as well. Be a bit of a sheep in that sense as through the final corner. Once again, gap now 4 seconds. As soon as I say that, it just dips below again. Lap times are still slowly going back up, so I might think about pitting in at the end of this one here. I'm just a little bit worried about whether we'll come into some traffic. A couple of people into the pits though, so maybe, yeah, that time to stop isn't too far away as well. But yeah, I'll just see how the tyres handle on this lap. Braking a bit earlier into the hairpin, but we get it slowed down. We actually roll on the power nice and tightly that time around as well. Was rather good. So pit stops do hold us up a bit, so I'd imagine if we pit we'd come out just behind that first gaggle of cars. So yeah, we'll probably go for it still. Just obviously try and take the fresh tyres. You can see these ones are definitely starting to struggle more and more. It's actually the rear left that appears to be taking most of the pounding at the moment. It hasn't got to sort of skatey levels just yet. It's certainly not quite where we want it either. So yeah, we'll dive it in. End of this lap and then try and go to the end from there. Gap up to nearer to 5 seconds. Right, remember to actually select the hard tyres, and also I don't need to worry about being sensible on pit entry on GT Sport, because it's not the same as F1. Clipping the grass on the entry though. That was a bit of a wobble. We'll go racing hards. We don't need fuel, of course. So, ooh, P2 actually dives it in as well there, so I wonder if we're going to see a lot more people follow us in as well onto a set of the hard compounded tyres to the end of the race. I think only one person has opted to stay out, and we are going to be out in the lead still of this one, so that is absolutely exactly what we needed. Like we said, we still got plenty of fuel to get to the end. Yeah, we've got enough fuel if we started the race now still to get to the end, but the gap's still 4.7 seconds. Even P2's still come out in clear air there, so that's worked out, yeah, really nicely for us. Everyone seems to have dived it into the pits over those couple of laps. I'm going to move the brake bias a little bit more forward as well, obviously just because the fronts don't seem to take as much of a beating around here as the rears. But yeah, this is looking good. As soon as I say that, put some rubber into the tarmac, I suppose, again. But the Spaniard's moved himself back up into P3, so it seems like the big loser out of that was actually our third Englishman. I don't know where he's gone. He seems to have completely fallen off the face of the order, so that's a little bit weird. Perhaps he's had some issues, or he's just stuck in like P9 or something. I don't really know. Seems that a lot of cars behind us are all fairly bunched together. But yeah, rather strange there. Hopefully he's not had anything too major of an issue, and the race will come back to him. But at the moment, we're sort of more worried about ourselves. Heading on to lap 10 then of this one. We have got the fastest lap, but obviously I'd love to go a bit quicker. Let's see if we can get a fast one in through turn 1. A little bit wide there. I'd also like to keep it clean and penalty free. Possible. Give the SRL, I mean, our SRL's maxed out anyway, but always nice to keep it and get ourselves another clean race on the board. Braking. Oh, that was woeful through there. And on the exit. This has definitely not been a lap. Ooh, and I've double shifted as well. Yep, this has been a lap to forget. No mind that. So the Spaniard, yeah, seems to have whipped out quite a big undercut then. The fact that he's now with the second Englishman as well. So impressive job done by him, considering he was down to P6 at one point. But yeah, it all seems to be a little bit mixed up. We have got another Brit now up into P4. So clearly, yeah, we've still got a few of us doing well at the moment. But I think it's like 140 championship points for the win in this one, which would by far and away. I mean, I think we scored, what, 111 in the first week of this series? So anything higher than about 7th, I think, would give us more points, or the second week of the series. Obviously, I missed out on round 1. So yeah, that would still give us quite a nice points boost as well. Now let's try and go for fastest lap then, as we head onto lap 11 of this race. Spaniard dives it in, so that's probably why he was so close, because he hasn't pitted yet in this race. This is always the problem with GT Sport. Can't quite keep up with all the penalties and everything like that. So he was on the hards by the looks of it, so he's going on to the mediums now to the end of the race. So we have now once again got British 1, 2, 3. And I'm still braking way too late into that corner. Managed to get the power down on the exit that time around. You sort of just sit there wheels spinning. One time it'll grip up, one time it won't. It's all a little bit weird, I'll be honest, as well here. But yeah, so far this race has been exactly what we needed, but it could all still go catastrophically wrong so quickly on GT Sport. Let's just see if we can get the fastest lap through the S's. Oh, we're 3/10 down at the moment, so I don't think it's going to be this one. We get right up towards the sausage curbs there. That wasn't exactly where we wanted to be. And we got a half-second penalty, so rip the full clean race as well. That's a bit gutting. So we will have to serve a pen. I think it's on the top of the hill though. So we are going to lose a bit of time to the guy behind, but it shouldn't be too bad. Yeah, but still just, he's hard to know at the pace of the mediums, despite being on much lower fuel. Don't start doing that. Don't need mistakes now. After we've made a bit of a boo-boo. The Spaniard's going to move himself back a bit to P3 though, so everyone's still having to pit. No idea how that guy managed to get his mediums so far into this race. Fair play to him though. But here we go, we're going to have to serve this pen now then. Should only cost us about a second. But we've got a better run out of the hairpin anyway still of the guy behind. He seems to be rather inconsistent through that. I'll be honest, I was quite surprised I was able to get a better run out of that corner than he was. But at the moment, we've got 5 laps to go then, here from the Red Bull Ring. Things are still looking good. As again, we make another mistake through there. Yeah, these hards definitely don't work the same way as the mediums do, despite being on a bit less fuel. It is all about the tyres on GT Sport. Fuel really does make very little difference in the grand scheme of things. Just trying to keep it within the limits. I don't want penalties just to become a regular occurrence towards the end of this. Can't afford to start bottling it now. So yeah, let's just try and stay in the 23s and get to the checkered flag. Lap 13 of 17. 17 is basically a 25% distance Formula 1 race around this track, if I'm not mistaken. Obviously that would be 18 laps. Yeah, 72 lap Grand Prix, 36, 18. So time-wise, yeah, very similar to a 25% race as well. Meanwhile, the manufacturers series seem to be a bit closer towards a 50% race normally. They're around 40 to 45 minutes usually. And yeah, in this, they're normally just under the 40-minute mark at the moment. So yeah, roughly. That's sort of how I compare most racing I do, even sort of iRacing stuff. I normally look at that as, yeah, about a 50% Formula 1 race. as well. It's just sort of the way I like to think about things. Make it a bit more manageable, sort of chunks, all that as well. But still, just as we waffle on a bit towards the end of this race, it would, yeah, be about a 50% F2 race around here as well. That's probably about 20-21 laps. Ooh, that's not what I want. TV just having a bit of a funny moment, I think. Don't know if that showed up on the recording or not. Hopefully not. But yeah, let's just see if we can keep this gap above 6 seconds. A nice 23.5 there. That's a decent lap as well. Trying to just keep the curbs nicely. I got no idea where Mr. PK Man's gone. Might have disconnected. We are down to 18. One of them, though, rage quit. He literally got in the lobby and left instantly. Not too sure. Clearly he wasn't in a high enough lobby or something. I don't know. Perhaps he thought he was meant to be in like top 24 superstars or whatever it is. I don't even think that's a thing during the exhibition series, is it? I don't know. I just know so little about this platform still. I just know there's a lot of good racing, and it happens once a week. For now, anyway. Normally, it's... I remember I tried to do it a couple of seasons ago and I had a look, and it was like Nations was like Tuesday and Saturday, and Manufacturers was like Wednesday and Saturday. So you basically had to put, yeah, like 3 hours of your Saturday to one side if you wanted to do that as well, which was just... It's like fine if this is the only game you're playing, but when you got like other stuff going on, like, it just takes so much out of your schedule, obviously, especially for the top guys, you know, that's got practice and everything like that as well. When there's no prize money, it really is difficult to justify, I'm sure, for a lot of people. So saying, yeah, look, I can't do anything on Saturdays for the next 40 weeks because the Nations Cup event's on and I'll get no prize money from it anyway. Ooh. Whoa, that was scary. Perhaps that's GT Sports' way of telling me you will waste your whole Saturdays doing that. But then again, saying that, I want to do the endurance series over on iRacing on Saturdays. A 3-hour sprint to LMS. So, who am I to judge as well? And I normally do LCRF2, which takes over an hour, and then this race anyway, which takes about an hour. So, really not much difference in the end anyway. So, perhaps, yeah, my point was ridiculous. But anyway, 2 laps to go then in this race. There's been a lot of rambling in this one. It hasn't been the most action-packed race in the world, but sometimes the least action-packed races are the best ones for your championship as well. And that's what we've got to think about. We were quite unlucky at the weekend. I say we were quite unlucky. We were just a bit inconsistent and we didn't have the best car for the track. Obviously, the Porsche in the Manufacturers Series, we really did think, I reckon I got everything out of that car still, but the Aston Martin was just way too fast around Monza for the Porsche really to be able to do anything. We were good through the corners, but keeping it consistent down the straights was a very, very difficult challenge, especially against a car that was pulling away when we had the slipstream. So perhaps it's a bit of redemption if we can bring this one home. 2 laps to go here from the Red Bull Ring. It really, yeah, I do feel like we're starting to gel with GT Sport again. Obviously, I've got a couple of mates that play this game fairly consistently, and I know my times sort of, obviously when you get the leaderboards have, I mean, they're still slower than them, but they've been coming down nicely. The gap's getting smaller and smaller each week we do as well, so we're clearly starting to get a bit more consistent, finding a bit more in the cars as well. And obviously that's the most important thing for me. I always find just sort of learning GT Sport again is the most difficult bit, but plenty more projects ahead of us in the future as we try to get better, get good on all of these racing games as well. But heading through the S's, or through the double left, for the penultimate time in this race. There's no S-style corners around this track, is there? It's all just, yeah, pretty much all just double turns, isn't it? When you think about it. You got right at turn 1, right at turn 2, and then you got the right at turn 3, and then sort of kinks more to the right as well. Turn 4, turn 5, both double Fs, and then turn 6 is, yeah, probably that one standout. That's sort of an S, I guess. And obviously turn 7, turn 8 as well at the end of the lap. But anyway, final lap then of this race as we get a little bit wild through turn 1. The Spaniard has definitely closed in the gap on our fellow Englishman just behind us. But ultimately for us, we got the lead accidentally on lap 1, and we've never really looked back from it as well at the end of the day. At fairly decent pace, rather surprisingly. Only a couple of small mistakes, nothing too major around this track either, but the pace has been good all day long. Hopefully, like I said, this might actually promote us up to our A license as well. I think it's, yeah, 146 points, I think, for the dubs in this one. So a good championship haul as well, should take us over the 250 mark. So things you absolutely love to see as well. But you can see 3 Brits as well, 6th, 7th and 8th. So a good day as well in terms of points for all. Through in towards the final double right-hander then of this race. Yes, has been short. It's going to be about a 24-minute race in the end there, so really happy with the way that one's gone. Through the penultimate corner, braking for the one final turn. It is going to be our first win back on GT Sport here in the Nations Cup. I will take that very, very happily indeed there in the end. You can see 4 Lexuses make up the top 4 at the end of the day. Myself and Zorzil picking up the 1-2 there. Actually, no one else inside the top 4 picking up a penalty, so clearly we were the dirty driver in that one as well. The Frenchman, it looks like he's going to come through for P4 just ahead of the first NSX. You can see a Nissan in P6 as well. There are another Englishman there in 6th. 7th is Bigos. 8th, there we go, is Nelson Piquet in the end. 31 seconds back. I've got no idea what happened to him. And then a huge train of GTRs, 9th, 10th, 11th, 12th and 13th there. And then 3 NSXs from 14th to 16th, and then 3 more GTRs ran out the field there. So we had 6 Lexuses in the top 8, and then none of them finished any lower in that one. So that was a rather good result for all of us as well. Then we're just waiting for the final guy to come around the final couple of corners, and then we will see, have we been promoted here on GT Sport as well. That's something I'd certainly like at the end of the day there. But yeah, that was a really, really good fun race in the end, and a textbook win. I'm rather happy with that. Victory in the Nations Cup as the number 15 driver as well. That is certainly good going there in the end. 146 points, my 21st race victory on GT Sport as well there. It is absolutely something you love to see here at the end of the day, and that might, yeah, like I said, have promoted us back up to our A license. Let's just have a look, get back to the lobby. Yes, it has. We're A on GT Sport as well then, so that is really, really nice to see as well. Thank you all so much for watching this video. If you did enjoy, do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well, and yeah, we will be back very, very soon for the next round of the GT Sport Manufacturers Series. You guys do not want to miss it.